Your plants will wilt to let you know when they've had too much or too little of a nice thing because they can't yell at you or even murmur. Plant wilting has 8 common causes, and you may distinguish one cause from another by putting a few pieces of information together. The good news is that wilting does not necessarily result in death. You can quickly turn your plant's fortune around if you can capture them just as they are about to wilt. Too much or too little water, too much heat or sun, too little sun, too much fertilizer, overcrowding, or illness can all cause plants to wilt. Analyze the reasons why plants wilt. Houseplants and outdoor plants are unified in their cries for help. They are likely to wilt when they get too little water, too much water, too much sun, too much heat, too little sun, too much fertilizer, crowded for space, affected by disease. Like many gardeners, you might decide to hold off on watering your plants until the earth has dried to at least an inch below the surface. However, Gardeners Network claims that the most frequent cause of plants wilting is by far dry soil, so you might be waiting a little too long. Underwater plants typically develop dark, dried, and parched leaves. In contrast, an overwatered plant's leaves may become limp, soft, and perhaps even yellow, according to Brightview. It may take some trial and error to find the correct watering schedule, but whatever adjustments you make sure your plant pots have adequate drainage so that they don't dry out too rapidly or become flooded. The reason why plants wilt in the sun. Typically, plants need the sun and warmth to grow and get their energy and nutrients. According to the University of Maryland Extension, an excessive amount of heat and sunlight might result in 2 issues. Warm, drying winds can cause the soil to become desiccated because moisture might evaporate more quickly than leaves can properly absorb it. Wilting in plants happens when both of these circumstances are adverse. Your plants may not be safe from the scorching sun, oppressive heat, or drying winds, but you can mitigate some of these drying effects by watering your plants many times per day. In truth, some plants flourish in these conditions, especially if you're persistent about a certain practice. If only because you are entirely at the whim of clouds, fighting against too little sun may be the most annoying cause of wilting, unless you can somehow rig grow lights outdoors. A plant that receives insufficient sunlight might wilt as well as become tall, lanky, and ugly. Learn more about plant wilting's causes. Many gardeners attempt to make up for this by using fertilizer, which, you never know, may help when applied lightly. If a plant quickly collapses or wilts within a day of fertilizer treatment, you know you used too much fertilizer. If you're reluctant to stop using fertilizer, consider switching to a water-soluble variety. Check your plants carefully and try to ensure that the stems and leaves don't appear crowded or pressed up against the pot sides. A plant will wilt if it has nowhere to grow and spread its leaves. This is why many plants come with advice for repotting, particularly the fast growers. A plant can be kept healthy by always thinking one step ahead. Last but not least, a withering plant is definitely succumbing to a bacterial or fungal disease if you can't connect it to any of these scenarios. However, it's usually preferable to stop the potential spread of a disease in its tracks and simply toss it away. A fungicide may help you revive a plant. Diseases can strike out of nowhere and may even make you yell and rage, not whisper.